Martin Seymour-Smith, the poet and critic, had this to say about Anthony Burgess. In 1975, he wrote, "Anthony Burgess has become the most prolific as well as the most gifted and versatile novelist of his generation. Not one member of it approaches Burgess's fluency, energy, inventiveness, effrontery. This has led, inevitably, to unevenness in his oeuvre and in single books. Nothing Like the Sun, 1964, is a brilliant fictional reconstruction of the life of Shakespeare, and its daring is a positive virtue. It seems to be based, and for many good reasons, on Fripp's rather than Chambers's biography. But some important episodes in Nothing Like the Sun are marred by haste, as in the recent, extraordinarily complex Napoleon Symphony, 1974. Sometimes the writing fails to do justice to the fantastically treated theme of vulgar, erotic ambition in possession of absolute power. Burgess is an expert musician and composer, and here he models his tragicomic life of the ridiculously vulnerable emperor on Beethoven's Eroica Symphony, with far-reaching implications in view of the history of Beethoven's attitude to Napoleon. As in other of Burgess's increasingly sophisticated novels, such as Motherfucker, 1971, the dazzling, but in no sense exhibitionistic, use of modernist techniques is somewhat undermined by an almost novelette-ish kind of dialogue. However, Burgess, though a devotee and splendid interpreter of Joyce, has a nostalgia for the past, and even for the old realism, though he knows this to be totally inadequate. To some extent, then, his frantic prolificity and this specific fault reflect not only a nicely old-fashioned gusto and relish for enjoying his work, but also a despair. One should not underrate his relatively sober beginning for his work as a whole, a Malayan trilogy, 1956-9. This is a painful account of how inhumanity and injustice can ruin the old, and is at one level a sustained meditation on the whole subject of social change. Here Burgess is in the half-mellow, half-pained, Tory, no allusion whatever to any government of our century is intended, tradition of Johnson, Disraeli, Ford Madox Ford, the expatriate Conrad, Anthony Powell. But born later than them, Burgess has increasingly turned to elephantine fun, the comic, the celebration of the human and the ludicrous, even within the husk of evil, Napoleon Symphony, or to the semi-mock symbolic, The Eve of St. Venus, 1964, or to the parodic Spy SF, Tremor of Intent, 1969. His great book, his Parade's End, is yet to come, if now such a book can come from anyone at all. For sheer intelligence, learning, inventiveness, imaginative capacity, writer's professional cunning, no English novelist comes near Anthony Burgess.